Jeremy was incredibly nasty, really just demeaning.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at shows in which both the stars and participants were never the same afterwards.
She just want to be herself. She just want to be Miriam.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
This morning, why has ITV's flagship daytime magazine show suddenly started destroying everybody who comes into contact with it? Your guess is as good as ours, but it certainly negatively affected many people who were on it.
Last night, Holly made what we know will have been a heartbreaking decision to leave this morning after 14 years.
There were the people who hated working with Philip Schofield. There was Schofield himself, who clearly let telly power go to his head. And there was Holly Willoughby, whose position in the public eye led to a kidnapping and murder plot.
Holly is on the front pages this morning after police arrested a 36-year-old man over an alleged kidnap plot.
It's Willoughby more than others that we're talking about, as we can't imagine the toll it takes on a person to find out that a man was trying to hire someone to kill them. It was no wonder that as soon as this story broke, Willoughby stepped down.
The charges against him indicate he is accused of planning to assemble a kidnap and restraint kit and encouraging a third party to travel to the UK to carry out the alleged offences.
Strictly Come Dancing.
His past dance partners were getting in touch with you and saying what?
I'm so sorry.
The BBC's biggest hit has been ruining lives for years. First, we have the infamous Strictly Curse, in which celebrities and professional dancers find themselves falling into each other's arms time and time again. Sean Walsh and Katya Jones certainly felt the brunt of the public's ire when they were snapped kissing by the tabloids, with Walsh's career ending up in the toilet and Jones's marriage ending.
I would get the producer saying, on the Friday, we've just watched the footage back, we are shocked and horrified, we're so sorry.
But recently it's come under fire for a different reason. Alleged misconduct at the hands of the over-competitive professional dancers.
There is evidence out there what happened in that room, and I'm not the one who's blocking.
Amanda Abbington blew the whistle on mistreatment on the show, and it so far led to both Giovanni Panici and Graziano De Prima stepping down, while the BBC implements chaperones going forward. Top Gear.
Are you now a mental?
No! I'm not! I'm fixed!
After his horror crash in 2006, Richard Hammond was left with serious injuries and spent time in a medically induced coma. He thankfully recovered, but this wasn't going to be the last near-death experience for a Top Gear presenter.
I mean, the doctors were worried because it was brain damage about, personality change or whatever, but no.
Cricketer Freddie Flintoff, who joined the presenting team in 2019 along with Paddy McGuinness, had 2 horror crashes, the latter of which ended the show in 2022.
You feeling like 100% now?
Not really.
The details have never come out, but only recently has Flintoff returned to television, with a new series of Freddie Flintoff's Field of Dreams. He made it clear that he was still haunted by the accident and the injuries he sustained.
I don't know what completely better is. You know what I mean? I am what I am now. I'm different to what I was. There's something I'll probably have to deal with for the rest of my life.
Come dine with me.
I'm telling you what I think of you.
But you're good at telling people what you think of them, Jane. You're not good at hearing the truth.
You may not think of Come Dine With Me as particularly life-changing in either a good or a bad way. After all they're doing is eating dinner, and the prize is only £1,000. But one man in particular was more affected than most. Peter Marsh, the show's most notorious contestant.
The way that you've presented yourself, you have led us to believe that you are quite a sort of pompous human being.
While Marsh's sore loser rant went viral, he has consistently claimed that he was misrepresented and has kept a very low profile since. But if you watch the episode, you'll see that while he's certainly not the nicest bloke in the world, Jane arguably deserved every word he said to her.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
She was needling him all week, but came out smelling of roses.
If I was going to school myself, I'd definitely give myself somewhere between a 10 and a 10.
Gladiators.
And guarding those baskets are our own mean machines, Warrior, Hunter, and the awesome Shadow!
Another show in which its stars suffered many near-fatal injuries was Gladiators, which even today in its BBC reboot is seriously hurting the athletes who participate. There was Diane Udale's horror fall from the pyramid that led to her leaving the show when she almost broke her back.
Oh, a jet with a spectacular crash dive.
There was Michael Ahern interfering with ongoing court cases for violent offences. And then there was Jefferson King getting kicked off the show for taking illicit substances, which led to a decades-long struggle with addiction and numerous prison stints.
You must wait for the starting whistle, or there will be a disqualification.
The lack of proper health and safety, combined with the meteoric rise to fame of its otherwise unknown stars, made Gladiators a powder keg of behind-the-scenes scandals.
Panther in a lot of pain there. Erica's with her. Gladiator Dr. Theo Peters straight to the scene.
The Late Late Breakfast Show. You couldn't avoid Noel Edmonds on primetime TV in the 1990s, while today you'll usually only run into him when watching old repeats of Deal or No Deal.
He's going very, very fast indeed. Very fast.
Like Gladiators, the Late Late Breakfast Show saw many participants injured over the years while trying to perform daring stunts for television. Again, health and safety was majorly lacking, but nobody heeded the warning signs of other serious injuries leading to a live car accident.
Well, obviously we'll keep you posted as to exactly what happened with that attempt.
In 1986, a member of the public, Michael Lush, died during a stunt rehearsal when it turned out his bungee rope had a broken carabiner. It failed when he jumped from a crane, and the BBC was found to be at fault.
This is BBC One. Because of the tragic accident involving Michael Lush while preparing for tonight's edition of the Late Late Breakfast Show, the BBC has decided to cancel this and all further editions of the programme.
Jim'll fix it.
But at the heart of what went on are a series of criminal allegations about the behaviour of Sir Jimmy Savile.
We dread to think how many lives were irreparably damaged through Jim'll Fix It, bringing vulnerable, often ill children into contact with Jimmy Savile. Similar things could be said about Clunk Click and Top of the Pops when he was presenting it, but Jim'll Fix It's unique premise gave Savile clear access to many of his hundreds upon hundreds of victims.
Jimmy, you've never been married and you don't seem to have a very high regard of women. Do you feel that women are inferior to you?
And even though he often wasn't involved personally in the fixes, this show more than any other gave him the credibility he needed to commit the many crimes we now know he was perpetrating throughout his entire career.
Was child protection on your radar as an issue back then?
I have to say I don't suppose it was. It's an awful thing to say, isn't it?
It's very disturbing to look back on all of these shows now. Love Island.
Caroline Flack was synonymous with ITV's hit reality show Love Island.
It's remarkable that, after everything that's happened, ITV is keeping Love Island going, with 4 different deaths now connected to the show, including its former host Caroline Flack. Calls for Love Island to get axed for good have never been louder.
We can confirm that our Caroline passed away today, the 15th of February.
The way it catapults people into the public eye is unprecedented, and many former contestants have spoken out about the impact the show has had on their mental health, particularly from not knowing how to handle online trolling.
You said that the Mike that we saw on screen was very different to the Mike that you knew, and that he was misunderstood in many ways.
There have been a lot of campaigns to get people to think before they post online, and an improvement in the show's aftercare, but many still think it should leave screens entirely.
You're actually telling me you picked...
Well, I didn't do that with anyone. I've not done anyone with that in 3 days.
There's something about Miriam.
There's still such a curtain pulled over the whole show. We never heard from Miriam again.
Even in 2004, someone should have realised that this show shouldn't exist. It took transgender model Miriam Rivera and found 6 potential suitors to woo her, but the show didn't tell the men that she was trans, leading to a big reveal at the end.
Everybody on the crew, the production staff, we all just felt like this kind of sense of trepidation.
When trans people find themselves at the receiving end of thousands of hate crimes each year in Britain, this premise was putting Miriam in clear danger. As well as that, the idea that trans women trick men into being with them is a harmful stereotype.
At that time, how did you feel about the deception?
I didn't feel anything. We're in the business of making television shows.
But the story gets worse. The men on the show were mortified, and Miriam's career ended. In 2019, Miriam is believed to have taken her own life, though her husband maintains that she was murdered.
As far as I was aware, Miriam hadn't been psych tested. No one had thought about what was going on underneath. How would she deal with
rejection.
The Jeremy Kyle Show.
They split you up straight away. You're put in these little cubicles, like shoe boxes, and they come and pump you for hours.
While other shows ruined lives by making mistakes, the Jeremy Kyle Show did so by design, and it did it for 14 years. Speaking after the 2019 cancellation, ex-producers said that they were told to target vulnerable individuals for casting, promising them paternity tests and stints in rehab in exchange for degrading themselves on television.
Yeah, I absolutely am aware of that. That's why.
Why is it taking you 15 years to deal with it then?
He's so condescending. He's so disrespectful.
It was sickening to watch even at the height of its popularity, with many people calling it out publicly for how it exploited the working classes it was claiming to help. When Steve Diamond took his own life, ITV did its best to try and scrub the show from existence.
Because Jane was on the show as well, Steve wasn't there to talk anymore, so they had to go down there and make sure that Jane realised that it wasn't the show's fault and she didn't start saying the wrong things to the newspapers.
But we all remember, and Kyle himself still hasn't so much as apologised. Let us know which TV shows you think should never have been made.
I really did go on the Jeremy Kyle Show to prove to you I never cheated on you, but it all went wrong. Love you forever, your Steve.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.